Hello there. Thanks for joining me as I read my college essay for the Common application. It's called Resilience. When my brother was 4 days old, he weighed 4 pounds. In the ICU, the doctor, with his team around my parents and my brother, gave a bleak prognosis. My dad said, "We believe that he is going to be okay." The doctor replied, "I'm sorry, I have to disagree," and left the room. My dad kneeled silently on the ground beside my brother's hospital bed and prayed. My brother Luke has complex medical conditions ranging from cerebral palsy to heart disease, and from deformity to epilepsy. I love Luke. Although he cannot communicate in words, he has taught me more than anyone else about life. I believe that every living thing is capable of resilience in the face of suffering and evil. I believe that beauty is defined by sincere persistence and persistent sincerity. I once was moved to tears by a gray and sickly tree that stood firmly rooted in the sidewalk. Resilience is the emblem of all life. When Luke was 6 years old, he unexpectedly stood and walked on his deformed feet. He had never walked before. Luke is now 20 years old and walks every day. When he stumbles, he stomps on with a focused intensity. The trajectory of my brother's life refutes the misery that the doctors predicted. His life does not discredit the doctors. Instead, it bears witness to the determination of the human spirit. Luke's care, with its array of medicines, near constant supervision, and numerous doctor's appointments per year, severely limits my family's freedom. For 2 decades, we have fed him, bathed him, and changed his diapers. I find these responsibilities trying, but there is nothing like the grin Luke gives me as I help him barrel downhill in his tricycle. Sometimes my parents manage to lug Luke to my piano concerts. In those moments of triumph, Luke claps and cheers as I play. When I was 9 and just starting to compose music, I was wonderstruck by a recording of Beethoven's Ninth. Poring over Beethoven's biographies, I learned that this giant of Western music suffered through his father's abuse, political unrest, and hearing loss. It was in defiance of his torment that he wrote music of nearly unparalleled profundity. Ever since, I have been a composer, and ever since, hardly realizing it, I have emulated Beethoven's approach to dealing with suffering. Creative expression is how I practice resilience. I use all my experiences, both good and bad, as inspiration for my music. When I create, I contribute to an ideal that transcends and redeems suffering. I sing myself in the great dance of life. The mystery of music lies in its power to unite strangers and brothers alike in song. Music responds to chaos with order, to suffering with meaning. It is a struggle for sincere persistence and persistent sincerity. Although my brother Luke is nonverbal, he responds profoundly to music. When I give him his headphones and put on anything from Gershwin to hip-hop, he lights up like Christmas and claps to the beat. I often roll Luke's wheelchair to my piano. He smashes the keys in his wonderfully reckless way. Then I give him his snare drum and try to match my playing to his erratic but deliberate beat. He always wrests my hands from the piano and makes me tap the drum with him. As humans, we endure unspeakable pain and proclaim ourselves above its cacophony. Like Oedipus in the Grove of the Furies, we do have to accept fate to some extent, but in the face of despair, we are nothing if we do not voice our defiance. One night, when I was feeling down, I took Luke outside, running with his wheelchair through the silent streets. Suddenly, I was filled with the cold air and stopped to watch the trees bend in the wind. I turned to Luke. He was laughing.